Welcome back to the Witch of Lupin Hollow YouTube channel. I'm Tanae, the Witch of Lupin Hollow, and I'll be your host. So today we are continuing my series of what blank astrological season means for you. So today we're talking specifically about what Libra season means for you. So every month, between usually around the 19th to 23rd, the sun moves into the next astrological sign. So the sun spends just about, 4 weeks or so in every sign through the course of a year. So the sun actually moves through all 12 zodiac signs in 1 year. Very easy to track, and that's why your sun sign in your astrological chart is easy to figure out. Libra season is from late September through late October, and it's bordered on the August to September side by Virgo and on the October to November side by Scorpio. So Libra season always starts on the first day of fall. It always starts on the autumn equinox. So the autumn equinox actually doesn't happen until the sun moves into Libra. The two are inextricably linked. You cannot separate them. Libra season, partly because of its connection to the autumn equinox, which is the day, one of the 2 days, the 2 equinoxes during the year, when day and night are equal, when they are at balance. So because the autumn equinox is associated with balance, so is Libra. And so when we are in Libra season, we're theoretically in a very harmonious time. This is it's in between the back to school energy of Virgo and of, August and early September, when we're all jazzed about new beginnings, right? It's in between those energies and the very deep shadow work kind of energies of Scorpio and of Halloween. So Libra is this little sort of lull. It's this beautiful little peaceful time when fall is really kicking off. The leaves are really starting to turn orange and red. We're really getting the fall foliage. And so for those of you who really love autumn, this is probably one of your favorite astrological seasons. I actually know that a lot of my clients who are witches have strong Virgo, Libra, and or Scorpio placements in their own charts because this is the season of the witch, right? We're really coming into this very magical, very shadowy kind of time. And so Libra is really leading us into that. Virgo and Libra both really lead us right up to the shadow work of Scorpio. So Virgo and Libra are sort of leading us into fall. They're, still summery in some ways, I know for me in Northern California, we tend to have some heat waves in October, although this year we're supposed to have a nice, cool, crisp fall for once. But, there's still those elements of sun. The days are getting shorter, but they don't feel really dark yet. And so there's very much this sense of balance. Often ties into our relationships this time of year because Libra rules relationships. So Libra is one of the 2 signs that is ruled by Venus. Every sign is ruled by at least one planet. So Libra is very much about love. It's about partnership. It's about relationships of all kinds. It's about the way that we relate to others. In the astrological chart, Libra naturally rules the 7th house. So Venus, Libra, and the 7th house are all sort of areas of this concept of balance in your life and creating harmony in your life. And so when we really get deep with what Libra means to us, what we're doing is we're seeing where we have the most potential to create balance in our lives, and we're seeing how we relate interpersonally. It's how do we feel connected to other people? How do we feel drawn to other people? And how do we not? Because relationships, not all of them are harmonious. And so, Libra also helps you to understand what kinds of relationships are not good for you, are not healthy for you, and are not sustainable for you. So Libra and the 7th house really help us to understand how to create balance, especially in relationships. But depending on what house you have Libra in and what sign you have the 7th house in, these could impact you in different ways. So although Libra and the 7th house naturally rule relationships, the signs and houses that interact with these 2 in your chart are going to give you a lot of insight into how that shows up for you. And so the seventh house is the descending house on your chart. So the chart is a wheel, and the ascendant is always on the left of your chart, and the descendant, or the sign that was setting at the moment you were born, is your seventh house. Okay, so the seventh house is the descendant. Really, anything that is in the seventh house is going to impact what you want in others, right? It's what you value in other people, it's what you value in a relationship, and it's what you seek from your partners, whether romantic, friends, even business partners. So, for example, I have Pisces in my seventh house. I really value emotional maturity in others, and I really value intuitive ability, not necessarily psychic ability, although that could certainly come up, but really it means that in my closest relationships, I really value this sort of intuitive intimacy. And I find one of the most interesting aspects of my seventh house is that I have the asteroid Pallas in the seventh house, which is the asteroid of manifestation. It's really the power we have to manifest in our lives, and sort of the way that we can most easily manifest the things and situations that we want. And so for me, which I have learned through much trial and error, although I could have just looked at my chart once upon a time and said, oh, this will guide me, this will give me insight. Pallas in my seventh house really indicates that I struggle to manifest on my own. I need other people. I need the support of people around me, but I also really need other people open opportunities for me, other people open doors for me that I could not have opened for myself. I still have to put in the effort, absolutely, to manifest the things that I want, but I can't get there alone. And realizing that is really, really vital. Whatever planet you have in your seventh house, whatever sign you have in your seventh house, and whatever planets you have in Libra are really going to give you insight into how do your relationships with other people impact you. So in my case, when I connect with someone, especially on a really intuitively intimate level, that relationship opens doors for me to things that I could never have achieved alone. So depending on what planets you have in these two areas, it really gives you a lot of power to understand how you relate to other people and sort of what your highest potential is in a relationship. I feel like highest potential is a phrase we throw around a lot in this community, and I feel like it's something that sounds really limiting. It sounds like, once you reach your highest potential, like you've got nowhere to go up from there, right? But that's not really what it means. Your highest potential is sort of like, it's your higher self. It's almost like your enlightened self. And so your highest potential is something to always continually be striving for. Like we can always reach a little bit further. No matter what we achieve, there's always something more to strive for. And so your highest potential in a relationship is not a limiting thing. It's not as though, there's a bad sign to have in your seventh house, and if you have that sign in your seventh house, you'll always be alone. Like that's not the case, not at all. Any sign in your seventh house is going to show you how those relationships in your life, how you relate to those people, how that's going to guide you on your path, right? It's not just about like, what are you going to get out of it? It's also about what you give to them. We give and receive love in the same way. The way that we give it is the way that we want to receive it. And so we have to examine that closely and say, how am I giving love? Is it what I want back? Is it what's going to feel most fulfilling for me? And that's where this concept of balance really comes back into Libra season. There is a balance there of giving and of receiving. And so when we're out of balance, when we're giving and, not getting anything in return, or when we're just receiving or not giving generously, or if we're giving something that isn't really what we want to get back, that is an imbalance in our lives. And so Libra season really helps us to see that and understand it so that we can achieve that highest potential. Because your astrological chart is a map to your highest potential. It's a map of the stars at the moment you were born that were configured in exactly the way that you needed them to be for this lifetime, to learn the lessons you needed to learn so that you could achieve the things you needed to achieve. Because our astrological chart is not something that dictates our future. It's not a fortune-telling device. Our astrological chart is something that shows us our opportunities and best part, it shows us the tools we need to open those opportunities for ourselves. So like with me, with my palace in the 7th house, I spent so many years trying to do everything myself and trying to manifest everything on my own. And when I finally realized that every door that's ever been open to me, there's been someone else involved. Yes, I've done the work. Yes, I've put in the effort. But there's been someone, even if it was someone totally random that I never would have thought that relationship would have ever really, led to some opportunity. Even if that's the case, there's still some connection to another human being that led me down a particular path. And so by understanding that, I can realize that, by constantly trying to create things myself without any help, I was out of balance. And once we bring ourselves into balance, just like the ascendant and the descendant on either end of your chart are at balance, there's this sort of perfect tension that happens. It's just like the saying that opposites attract is because often our closest relationships are people who have strong placements of our descendant sign, because there is this perfect tension. There's this almost like balanced seesaw effect when we relate with people who are different than us, and we can understand how that tension, how that balanced relationship creates greater balance in all areas of our lives. So what does Libra season mean for you? It's about creating balance, especially in your relationships, and to learn what Libra season is showing up for you, how it's showing up for you. You want to look at what planets do you have in Libra in your astrological chart? What planets and what sign do you have in the 7th house? And bonus, if you want to get even deeper with it, you can look at what sign and house do you have Venus in, and what house do you have Libra in. These are all elements of your chart that are all going to tie together. And that's the beauty of astrology, is it's so nuanced. You can always get a layer deeper with it and come to understand that we are never one-faceted. Yes, I have Pallas in the 7th house. I also have the asteroid Lilith in the 7th house. I also have Libra in my 2nd house. So we end up with these unique combinations of signs and houses and planets that guide us to the tools to achieve our highest potential. I will see you next time, and please do comment below with where Libra shows up for you. What is coming up for you this Libra season, and how are you feeling balanced or out of balance, and what do you think your chart has to share with you about how to achieve greater balance in your life? Make sure you follow my channel so that you can be notified whenever I put out a new video, and I'll see you next time.